the run through from the Splodge machine in the Offsec Proving Grounds. The vector path is you go to the web app that's running on the host. There'll be some source code. You download the source code, you reinflate it. This will show you some credentials and also a crappy PHP function. You use the credentials to log into the app that's running. Then you'll see a regex replacement that's you can see in the source code as well. And basically, if you use a certain modifier in the regex, it will evaluate and run the code. Well, run the data you put in to replace, which so you can put code in there, and then you use that to get a reverse shell. Then we find some more clear text creds on the host, so then we use those creds to access the database. From the database, we're able to run further commands as the user that's running the database, and we use that to get another shell. And then when we've got the shell as that other user, they have sudo, full sudo. So then it's just a case of getting a straight root shell that way. So I don't know what that was on my screen, but anyway, I'll show you the mmap scan I ran, so you can see, and you can see the command at the top there. So if you care for that, that's what it was. 22 was open, web app was open. More importantly, it found the Git repo 1337. We'll have a look at that. Postgres default port, 8080 as well. So this is basically the app of the code that's in that repo. Yeah, that's it. So if I get my browser up, this is the endpoint on 80, and I'll have a look at. I'll just show you. There was a red herring on this as well, which was 1337. I mean, you think, oh great, maybe I can run a command, but I couldn't. Sorry, and it's not part of the path anyway. What is the code that's running? Not the repo itself, but just say this blog. You can write comments. You can log in as an admin. So the tool I used, this Git repo that's here, the tool I used is called Git Dumper. I can't remember. I'm sorry. I can't remember exactly where it is on GitHub, but like for the repo. But basically, you give it the target, and then you give it the name of the directory it's going to create locally on your machine to put it all. So you do that, and it will download everything, and then the way Git works is with pack files and objects. So we need to reinflate it or unpack it. So if I go into dumps, you'll see it's just this Git repos here. So if we go in, we're okay. So if we do a checkout like this to reinflate everything, then if I could type that correctly, that would be good. Then now there's stuff. So if we open that in VS Code, oh look at that. I always look for creds, and not in this way manually, but in these CTF situations, I guess I would. You'll have a look around, you will come across this, and this looks pretty sus to me. It looks like a real pass. Well, it is a real pass. That leapt out of me. So that is, I think I've already put in my passwords file. That's because we're not in the right place. Yep. Okay, so we got a credential. And we try logging in here as admin, because it's the admin portal. We will get in and we'll have this profanity replacement regex feature, and that is all we'll have. So we provide the regex we want. So for example, we want to swap yes for no, etc, etc. It will do that, and the other thing, this wasn't intuitive, and I didn't even really find documentation on it, so I had to peek under the curtain, so to speak. But yeah, this block, whoa, not that massive. So when a comment happens, this preg replace function kicks in on it, and it does the regexing here. And you won't find it in the documentation for this. You'll find it everywhere else, well I did anyway, in the PHP documentation. But essentially, hopefully I can get my session back. Yeah, in here it doesn't talk about this /e. This is somebody's comment, but however, if you go into like another function, it does say don't use the E modifier because you'll get remote code execution vulnerabilities. So basically, if we put an E in here, this was not intuitive. I'm repeating that because it was a bit annoying. And then if we put something like this, PHP code, which will run the system, get a file called shell, write it to temp, change the execution permissions, and then run it, we'll be able to get a reverse shell that way. So if I serve, I think I've got it already. No, I haven't. Okay, here we go. So we're basically going to make just in fact I should also so you may discover that the payload should be an x86 Linux one. So we're going to call back on that port 1337, and we're going to create the out file as just shell as per the command. So when I do that, and then I'll start a server from here, that's just a wrapper around a Python server. Create a new listener on 1337. This is a wrapper around Penelope. And okay, and now get my Splodge password. Okay, so what will happen is when we write a comment that has yes in it, it will swap it for this basically. Well, it will go to evaluate the replacement, and through its evaluation of it, it will just run this. You don't see, when you put this password in, you won't see anything. If you put it in wrong, you won't see anything. So now if we go back to the page and make a comment, and yeah, and we write yes in there, or have the word the string yes in there, calls that, then gets to shout. I'm not going to run this, show you how I ran limpys. All I'll say is I'll tell you how I did it. Press function 12, then detached from the Penelope session, typed run, and then it has tab completion, which is quite nice. So you just started writing p's ng, and then it uses that module and then launches another window to run limpys in, which is quite good. On our travels around, there is I think it's in yeah, so we've got a new user. We should add that to our users file. There is a .m file somewhere. Here you'll see this in your enumeration, but more credentials. I did wonder what that was, and it's nothing. So add that and Postgres and the database Splodge as well. So add to passwords that, and add to users Postgres. Okay. So from here we can kind of go two ways. One, oh yeah, this is important. Hydra allows you to brute force Postgres, which was quite handy. So I've got my users file and I've got my passwords file. So I'll do it on here, and there you go. Like, we can log into Postgres as the Postgres user using that password. So I'll do that. Default port, and we want to be Postgres, and we'll select the database of Splodge. We'll go into that one, and it will say what's the password, and we say it's the one we found. I pasted it in. Here we go. So we'll look at a version, and basically if it's above 9.3, it means there was a new feature added to Postgres which allows you to run commands. So I'm just gonna start a new shell and a new listener for when we need it. 4444. I'm not going to type out all these commands, but basically I'm just going to copy and paste them in and explain them. So we want to create a table so that the output of our CMD exec has somewhere to go. So we do that. Table's created. Now, then, when we this is how we do command execution. I'm not going to run this command. I'm not going to run ID, but basically, when we run the from program and give it a command, it will run it for us, which is kind of nice. Instead, I'm going to run this, which is a Perl reverse shell. I tried a Bash one. I tried a Python one. Maybe I could have tried harder. This one was in the Hacktrix description, and it worked. So I'm just going to change my port. So maybe it didn't like that port. So maybe it just wants to speak to another database. Yep. So now with the Splodge user, and then as soon as you look for what sudo you can do everything. So well, you can do the most important thing, I should say. Now a root, then oh, don't know why my shells died there. Oh, it's really ropey, making me wish I was on an NCAT listener now. There you go. That's the box. Happy hacking.